Alright, welcome back to Dwarf Fortress. Let's try to remember where we were. Check out our hotkeys. F1, F2. That's all we got. So it looks like we have our what plan to be our main area for now cleared out. We have our two offices set up. And what I did not notice is that one of our people who has an office doesn't actually need an office. So it's our manager, Asen, who needs an office that doesn't have one. And Dacost, who is a bookkeeper, requires one and has one. So it's our expedition leader that doesn't need one. So we're going to reassign his office to Dacost. So it's A to assign, and then assign Asen. Alright, perfect. So now we should be able to do jobs. I don't remember the hotkey for jobs. I have to look at it. Oop, what's going on? Oh. Up here we have our little curly bit. It's currently summer still, so we're gonna be expecting our dwarven brethren soon. Next season. If we go down here, here's our pasture area where we have our turkeys and dogs. I'm actually going to assign a hotkey here. So we go to capital H hotkeys, and then F3, and then press Z. Now we've got a hotkey to zoom to this location. And I'd like to move our F1 hotkey to right here as well. Alright, so I'm going to unpause now. We've almost finished planting our crops this season. If we take a look in our stockpile, I think it's T, you can look in stockpiles? No. What's the letter? T? No, just a T. Anyway, I'm pretty sure there's a hotkey that lets you look in. Oh, maybe you need to inspect it. Then view. View selected. No. V? No. Maybe there's just nothing in there. We're learning together. Alright, so this one has uses and contents. This one has no uses and contents. This one has uses and contents, okay. And here is our fruits and stuff. Very cool. We're also trying to get a horned melon over here. I like horned melon. Strawberry. I don't know how to tell the difference between plants that are ready to be harvested and plants that aren't. They all kind of look the same to me. Here's something interesting, rope reeds. If we go D, P, and then gather these, those are an outdoor growing plant that you can spin into thread and cloth. We have some more around the other ponds as well. If we gather those. If we ever run out of whatever the thing is. Oh, why do we just deconstructed our... We deconstructed our caravan for some reason. Did I do that? I might have done that by accident. Oh, these were our carpenter's things. So I guess I did that by accident. Anyway, let's make a small stockpile of stuff that we want to have near our trading depot so that it's not a long haul to move it. So I'll go P. And then we will do custom stockpile, edit our settings, disable food, enable trap components, block all, and then we're gonna permit these, and that will be our wooden spiked things that we're planning to sell. We can also make a furniture stockpile. Let's do that down here. We already have a couple beds in our dormitory, but we can build more. BB, build bed. We can have 3, so we'll add 3. Is there anything else up here? We have more. Ooh, here's our outpost liaison and our caravan. Man, we have a lot of wood, huh? Alright. So we do have a broker assigned. Even before we get our conversation screen, we can start moving stuff to the depot. So if we go down to trap components, just select all those. So those are being moved now. Looks like we did have a couple that were of pretty good quality, so those will fetch us some money. Oop, I just bumped my mic, sorry. What else do we have in this pile here? We have crutch, bookcase, splint blocks, wheelbarrow, cages, barrels, bookcase, bucket, etc. So I'll maybe make a stockpile down here, like I said I was going to. That includes that stuff. I'm thinking this lower corner. So let's change the custom settings. We wanted furniture, enable, and for now we can just enable all of it. Then put that down here. Just like that. This giant tick? Where did that happen? Is it up in the sky somewhere? Let's look at our unit screen. Others. So these are all the stuff that our merchants brought. I'm not sure we're gonna buy anything. Maybe the guinea hen. Let's see. Milk fish. Giant tortoise. Here's our giant tick. Let's zoom to it. And Z status. Large monster taking the shape of a tick. His left third leg is broken. His left third leg is smashed open. We might be able to look at our reports to see what's going on there. So he's fighting with a stray war dog and our herbalist. Kadal Muthkatadun. I am your outpost liaison from the mountain homes. Let's discuss your situation. There's much to share. Blah, 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 blah. Begin discussion. Let's see, what do we particularly want? I'll up the priority for cloth. Just because we want some of that occasionally. Certain metals are kind of rare. Oops. So I'll up steel and pig iron. As far as I know, large cut gems are actually completely useless. So I'll stick with these small cut gems. There's certain ones that are worth a lot. The ones that you typically would expect to be worth a lot, like diamonds, emeralds, sapphires. So I'll pump those up a little bit. Let's see. Getting the right metals to make weapons out of is kind of tough sometimes, so it's good to have your outpost caravan bring some for you. If we want any new animals, here's how we would ask for those. I'm not sure we need any. Let's see. Stone. I might ask for some... I think olivine is a special color. Bauxite I know is red. We can also ask for things like iron here. And I know we do have iron. Platinum. Gold, silver. One thing that I want to do is if we ever have a, what's the word I'm looking for, strange mood, I want to have a stockpile of nice materials around all our workshop areas, so that the first thing that they are able to grab is the material that's worth a lot. So the artifact that they end up making has a high value. So I don't typically make what they ask for here. They're paying extra for thread, footwear, musical instruments, rings, cheese, seeds, quivers, drinks, handwear, prepared meals. I still find it's better to just trade our stuff that we already have. And I believe when they make that suggestion, that's for the next season. The same way we just requested stuff at a surplus for this next season when they come. And it looks like all our stuff is moved, so we can press R to request our trader at the depot. We can follow him in jobs. So, which one's our broker? I don't know. Oh, here's trade at depot. Currently inactive. And one of our dwarves just headed in there. So now we're ready to trade. So this one that we made is worth 504. So that's pretty good. Let's mark all of them for sale. So with just 7 wooden balls, that's 2,000 value worth of stuff. I'm gonna pick up some rose gold, pig iron. We don't really need blocks, although cobaltite is blue, a dark blue. I like making unique stuff with that. Pick up some glass. I think you can also need specifically crystal glass. We wouldn't have that yet. We have clay and sand and stuff on our embark location here, so we don't need that. I will pick up a rope. We need that for making a well. What else? I'll pick up some of the 10 value water skins for when we make a army. Some of these cages are nice. Even just not even buying them for the animal that's inside them, but you can see they're about the same price as just an empty cage itself. And I would try to avoid these lead cages because they are heavy and your dwarves will walk slower when they're carrying them to a trap. And get some barrels if we want to make cheese. And again, getting a barrel with stuff in it isn't that much more expensive than just getting a barrel. And we do have our own barrels that we're making, of course. now we're getting into the weapons. Let's see. An iron short sword. That's good. What else? A new pick would be nice, since we haven't gotten our kind of forge set up yet. Bronze crossbow, I'll take that. A steel pick, that's really expensive. We'll get some copper armor. It doesn't look like there's much armor. Some iron boots, I'm not sure about that. We'll pick up a bismuth bronze buckler. So we might be able to clad out one dwarf for military. And I'll kind of skip through a lot of this other stuff. Gypsum plaster is nice. It's needed for making casts if you ever have injuries that require setting with a cast and a splint. And that's hard to get on your own if you don't have gypsum in your world or your embark location. I'll pick up a chest and some sand. And here's the leather stuff and cloth. I typically buy all the leather you can because it's so cheap and it's used a lot. But we're actually running low on cash here now. I try to keep the value at about 60% of the total, so that the trader profit is like 40% of the combined, or like the value you see over here on the right side. So that means we're gonna buy just a couple more things here. Let's get some silk cloth, and then some... Oh, it looks like there wasn't any, or maybe I just missed the threads and yarns. We're doing good on anvils. We have one already and we haven't used it. Oh, here's the yarn. So I'll pick up a thread and a yarn. And now I think we're starting to cut it close on the trader profit to keep them happy. That's really all we need. We've already hit the top of our thing again. So we can press T and we'll see what they say. It seems pleased with the trading. Cool. So we can unrequest our trader. We've already traded, so it's no longer needed. Let's start making some... How many tables do we have? We have 4. So we can start making a meeting hall area, and we can flesh out some of our initial workshop areas down here while stuff is being moved. We can also, while we're at it, go up here. I have Mason's workshop. We can ask for more tables and stuff to be made. I accidentally did the armor stand. That's fine. So I know we bought some leather and leather stuff, so I'll make a couple small stockpiles of those categories. L for leather. H for cloth. What else? I'll make a finished goods stockpile. And a weapon stockpile. And for the weapon stockpile, if we change the settings, we can disable the trap components, since we already have a stockpile for that. Let's press F to forbid. Okay, I still keep messing up my hotkeys, so I don't know what was recorded and what wasn't. You might have just been seeing all my dead air. Stone stockpile, stonework, legendary crafter. We have some stockpiles here, stockpiles there that we traded. Dwarfs came last season, it's currently winter. And we have a meeting hall. I'm going to build some more thrones if we have the chairs for them. Yep. And we're one short. So let's add another one, and that should be good for our tiny little meeting hall for now. Let's start maybe designing a smallish hallway up on this upper left part. So designate mine. Want to think about our rooms. Let's kind of mirror what's going on the other side a little bit. Maybe like this. And then our hallway will come out this way. I'm thinking we'll want a bigger library since we're putting out so much good stone stuff. We can have a lot of decent bookcases and bookends, and whatever, and attract a good crowd. And maybe we'll make a couple, or maybe just a big kind of chamber for worship right now. I'll make it a square. Square-ish. And I'll chop off the end of this, and then finally dig out this entrance part. Is it going to bother me that these two are not identical? It might bother some of you, but I find that funny. Up on the surface here, I'm gonna build a butcher's workshop. Not a bowyer, butcher's. Is that H? No, it's fishery. Although we do need one of them. C? No. I'll have to actually look in the list here. U. I should have known. Let's put this off to the side here. We can use some of our blocks that we've made. We also need a leather, or not a leather works, but a tanner. Is that N? Yeah. So, stuff will come from the butcher to the tanner, and then also go to our food stockpiles. And we've struck gold. So we can, in the future, have a lot of good gold stuff. Maybe even make some gold bookcases for our library. Slap some doors on it. And then we can start putting our bookcases. It has a hotkey for as Alt-C, but I find that the Alt key is kind of weird sometimes. I'm not going to put one directly in the corner, just because I don't think they'll be able to reach it. Let's expand this, and we can view exactly the quality of the bookcases we're placing. So I'll save our really good ones for maybe the center area. Yep, and actually the Alt-C hotkey does work. So in the center, I guess there's two centers. I'll put our masterwork one, and then off to the edge of the center, I'll put our slightly below masterwork one. And I don't think we have any books yet, but we can still designate it as a library. We'll also need some tables and thrones. Let's try to go through our manager to do that. So M, no, not M. What is the hotkey? Job list, and then manager. And then Q, new order, and then you're immediately searching, so you can just type throne, and then you can select rock throne. And I think we'll do maybe we'll have a table down the middle of each row, and then thrones on each side. So I think I'll ask for 24. And then we'll also make a new order for rock table. And I'll do 12 of those. That's how you do math. Okay, cool. So as we resume, if we look inside our masonry workshops, you'll see that there's orders here that have the O. And I think that means, well, that does mean that it's from a manager. So if you try to cancel it using cancel task, it'll immediately restart because it's not, the source of the task wasn't from you actually manually doing it in a workshop. And one of the things I forgot is that we wanted 2 tiles in between everything. So I actually screwed this room up. When you construct walls, you can't then engrave the walls, which kind of sucks. So we'll just be stuck with engravings on one side of our wall. So what I'm doing now is designating a new meeting area, a new activity zone, and it will be a meeting area now. Now we can assign a location, add location. It's going to be a library. The Library of Boulders. And that makes sense because there's still lots of rocks in there. But as we produce more rock stuff, soon they'll be cleared out. And everyone wants to be in there now, despite it only being 4 bookcases, boulders, and no books. How are we doing for tables? If we do T, we can look inside our workshops, and there are quite a bit of thrones and tables. So we can start building those. We got plenty of idlers to build them. I won't make it straight up against the wall, but close. That's all for our tables. Now for our thrones. Oops. Maybe I should have made more thrones. I think we will need another 10 thrones. So J, M, Q, rock, throne. Then, how many did I say? 10? And we'll also do more tables. You can see there's 3 left on the tables, but we were also needed another 2. So rock table. Then we'll ask for 2. Now that we have 2 meeting areas, maybe now's a good time to look at our dwarves' emotions. In the corner here you can see that we have 13 that are kind of in the middle, and 2 that are on the happier side. We can also go into U, L, and you'll see the stress. This is from auto labor. The people that are at 0 are kind of neutral, and the more negative you are, the more positive you are, ironically. So negative stress is good. And yeah, people seem to be happy. Let's take a look at our happiest people. So it's view creature, thoughts and preferences, stuff about a proper room. They have a dormitory now. Pleasure near a fine table. Pleasure near a fine seat. Fondness making a friend. Oh, remembering making a friend. Do you guys watching remember making your friends? I remember my friends, but I don't remember making my friends. You felt fondness talking with a friend. Let's actually look at their friends. Go to relationships. This is Daycost, our bookkeeper. He has a lover. Actually, I don't know if that's a man or a woman. Num is his deity. And he has 4 friends and 1 close friend. And the close friend, well, these are all people that are at the fortress. So he's never going to feel distant from his friends. That's good. Unless they die. Which, yeah. Alright, we have our first scholar visiting. A goblin. Alatha Phaeobathasa. We can go to our unit screen and view others. We have our diplomat, which I didn't know was still here, and we have our visiting scholar. A medium-sized humanoid driven to cruelty by its evil nature. Her hair is extremely long, her somewhat narrow eyes are splayed out. She has a prominent chin, her hair is carmine. Her skin is gray, her eyes are red. Too much weed, huh? Let's follow them. Z, go to unit, and then F to follow. And then unpause. And what do you know? They're going to our library. So if we had sheets and book stuff and scroll stuff, they might be interested in writing or reading. But we don't have any of that, we just have tables and bookcases. Maybe they brought their own book. If we view the scholar, go to I. Nope, they just have a spear and a shield. That's odd for a scholar. We may have a storyline developing here. Now we have another scholar, Sigan Uthelilum. Go to our units. Sigan. Few. So this is a dwarf. Sturdy creature fond of drink and industry. Teeth are crowded. That's ugly. Hair is clean shaven. She has a round chin. Her jade eyes have thin irises. Her ears are somewhat broad. Her hair is copper. Skin is brown. Let's give them a follow. Down they go. And they're in our empty library. So I wonder if they brought a book. Trousers, dress, robe, cap, gloves, shoes, socks. No books. So maybe they're giving an oral history. That would make sense. So I built some cage traps, and apparently now these block off your caravan access. That's interesting. So we'll have to deconstruct these. That's too bad. An elven caravan has arrived. So they're from Kokwenuri. Let's actually look at our... What's the hotkey for viewing your world? I think it might be on the noble screen. No. Where is it? Oh, it's under the civilizations. So, we're gripped nets. We're the key of deer, the gloved spear. So where might civilizations be? Kokiniri. Can we zoom to them? I guess not. Are they somewhere up here? So this is interesting. We have a close-by tower with no civilized population. It's only about a day away. We might be able to go and just yoink some books to start filling our library. Is this our... This might be one of the areas that we're trading with for elves. Maybe one of these places, I don't know. Let's resume. We do have a bunch of idlers. It wouldn't be too bad to send out maybe 2 or 3 dwarves to go and fetch stuff from that place. We also have a human engineer visiting. They're unloading our goods, so we can start moving stuff to the trading depot. And what do we want to trade this time? We don't want to trade any wood stuff like we did last time. Let's go down to trap components. No. Furniture? Somewhere is our cylinder tools. Let's do select mechanism. And let's trade some of these lowly ones. We'll keep these worthy looking ones for our own use throughout our fort. And I do have more being built as we speak. But those are worth some money. Not a lot, not as much as wooden spiked balls, but elves don't usually have that much expensive stuff, unless you're talking like giant animals and cages. Expensive cages, too, sometimes. Then you'll want to fork out some good stuff. I'm not actually sure what else we have. Mechanisms, we have some bars that we bought just recently. I don't want to sell our picks. Yeah, we really just don't have much. Oh, we do have some rings. But I think, I mean, we can always make more. So we can start selling these. I'll keep the masterwork one. And we might not even have to sell it depending on what we want to buy. Okay, so these actually aren't worth all that much, apparently. But we can buy some stuff. Yeah, so here's a giant deer. Oh, here's a grizzly bear. And a giant wolf. I want those. We're gonna have to make some money. How do you want to do that? I guess I'll order a bunch of rings and mechanisms to be made. If we take a look, as soon as your mechanisms start getting any kind of value at all, they shoot up pretty good. But let's take a look at what else they've got for sale. I'm not really interested in their clothes because they won't fit us. Maybe apricots, sand pears, peaches. Not too much of that stuff though. Peaches, apples. They have splints. They have crutches. They have musical instrument parts, and really that's it. Otherwise, I just want these giant animals. The deer would just be for meat, but the grizzly bear and the wolf, those could stand their own against some bad dudes if needed. So let's not mark all this stuff for sale. Let's mark some stuff for sale. Just enough to keep them happy and afford what we're buying. So that's about good. So we're buying 50 dwarf bucks worth of stuff and they're making 30 dwarf bucks profit. So let's press T, trade. And they say wonderful. So I'll unrequest our broker while we're making stuff. Let me add a bunch of the crafts. And over here we can make some rings. This is the one that we have our legendary craft store at. Over here we can make, I don't know, bookcase, sure. Maybe slabs, we're gonna need those eventually. and then fill up this and the other one. So our goal is to make about 1,500 dwarf bucks, so we can buy both those giant animals from the elves. Alright, so the merchants are going to be leaving soon. I've requested that our trader come here, but he's... Oh, he's on his way. Cool. Hopefully he gets here in time. And it looks like him now. So let's trade instantly. Mark all that stuff for sale. The value is right about where I want it. So let's get, not the giant deer. Grizzly bear, giant wolf. They make about 40%. They should be happy with that. We can get the giant deer next time. So trade, and they seem pleased. Sweet. No longer needed. We're gonna have a grazing area for, or maybe not. So we can put them down here. So let's do I for zones, get on top of this, and go to undo them not caged, so capital C, and that'll show us what's currently caged. We can also look at what's non-grazing and grazing. So we know that these two are both non-grazing, so they don't need any actual vegetation on the ground to eat. So our dwarves should go and let those giant animals be friends with our puppies and guinea hens and chickens, and just in time for our elves to leave. This is why I like elves. They bring you giant wolves. Dwarves don't bring you wolves. Humans don't bring you wolves. Elves do. Okay, so I've taken the time to read the wiki, and the guild article is currently a stub, but I did learn that there's actually a locations. Is that locations? I thought you could... I could have sworn the wiki said to use N to view locations. Am I just missing it? Locations. Oh, L. So if we go to... This is our Animal Caretaker Guild Hall. And it'll upgrade when we get to 2,000 dwarf bucks worth of bucks in there. And it doesn't look like we can assign people. Let's change restriction so that all visitors are welcome. Maybe once we get to a better build hall or guild hall, it'll be worth more. We also have petition, the Sepia Guild, and requires a guild hall for the Ranger Guild. Yeah, sure, whatever. And another thing, our animal caretaker has taken a Fey mood. So he is right here. So let's look at his skills somehow. So his name is Mayfall Idenlef or something. So go to UL, then go down to his name. What was it? Mayfall. He has a 3 in animal caretaking, and he's an adequate herbalist, and really nothing else. So we can't know for sure. You can kind of get a hint sometimes as to what workshop they'll need based on their skills that they already have. But since he doesn't have any skills, okay, so he's claimed this Crafts Dwarf workshop that we previously designated only for our legendary Crafts Dwarf. But luckily, I think the Fey mood is one of the ones that'll make it legendary. There are different kinds of strange moods, and he's demonstrating exactly why I wanted to have kind of like a barrier of worthwhile stone. So we could have grabbed this gold, but he chose not to for some reason. So if we resume, he's going to keep grabbing stuff. And I really wish you would have grabbed the gold. He's also grabbing cloth. So if we take a look in here, he has spider silk cloth. And if he didn't have that, we would have had to reach the caverns and make it. And in that time, he could have gone crazy and started massacring everyone. But it was a success. He's with his bird. And he's started on his thing. I think we might have had even more animals since we assigned our pen pasture. Let's check again. Nope. Alright, and our mysterious mood is done. We've created Arigunab, a granite bracelet. She claims it as an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor Feb Furnace Knight. So let's take a look at that. We now have a new hotkey, L, and we can see it's worth 6,000 Dwarf bucks. And as a description, it is a granite bracelet or crafts dwarfsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with round granite cabochons and encircled with bands of oval granite cabochons and spider silk. This object menaces with spikes of granite. So it is very granite-y. And if we take a look, I guess she's now a legendary engraver. Is that true? If we go back to our thing. Mayfall? That was her name? Yeah. So now they're a legendary engraver. And we can go into DFAC and, if you wanted to, request that only one dwarf be assigned to engraving the walls, and have Mayfall engrave all the walls, creating legendary masterwork engravings. But I don't think we're ready for that. Alright, summer has arrived on the calendar. That means that the humans are going to be arriving soon. I've started digging out what is going to be our ranger guild, and I've also decided it was a good idea if we go into our manager to make mechanisms and cages so we can get a good animal trap thing going on with all this weird stuff outside. We've seen hamsters, we've seen elephants, we've seen giant ticks, and that's all stuff that are awesome animal caretakers, trainers can tame. So I want to start catching stuff for them to fill those cages. We can also start work on our guild hall for our rangers. So let's build a door to start with. We're down to our one door, and I think we'll want to build some tables. And we have one. So let's maybe make some more tables too. And we'll make 5. Not that we need 5, but it's good to have 5. Do we have any chests? We have 1 chest. So maybe they'll store something in there for their guild. And then the last thing I want to build is a few archery targets. So I'm looking through our thing here, and here it is, capital A, to make an archery target. So let's maybe put them a little off center here. So I'm thinking we can use our wood blocks for that. Is there a way to search? No. So I think these are wood blocks. So we found a use for those after all. And then finally we can create a meeting area for it. And I think if we actually include the walls in our zone here, it'll increase the value once we engrave the walls. So let's choose Ranger Hall. And then we can go into locations, and apparently it is the Fuchsia Wanderer. And it already has a meeting value of 203. So we can change the restrictions so that all visitors can come and teach our dwarves. Yep. And then once the stuff gets actually built, I think that value is only based off the door maybe. It'll start to be worth more. Let's see, was there anything else? This episode is probably getting kind of long. I'm gonna have to cut out some of it because I messed up my recording hotkeys and I didn't really know what I was doing. But I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.